Hello Philippines and hello world. Welcome to the Daily Talk. I am Princess Juna Galiana and together with my co-host Miss Angel, we have prepared a very interesting topic that will surely catch the attention of everyone.
That's right. With the help of our special guests, we will be talking some learning theories and its association to special education. Our topic for today is about the behavioral or observational learning theories. The objectives are to review the nature of some learning theories, associate the learning theories to special education, and to gain insights on how to deal with students with specific disorders.
Let's have a round of applause to our first guest for today's talk, Crystal Kyril, Doctor of Psychology from St. Luke's Medical Center.
Welcome to the Daily Talk, Dr. Crystal. Thank you for being with us today, and it is our pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me here.
We are really curious about some of the learning theories, especially Edward Thorndike's Learning by Trial and Accidental Success. Can you please tell us something about it?
First and foremost, I am Crystal Kyril, Doctor of Psychology from St. Luke's Medical Center, and I am familiar with Thorndike's Learning by Trial and Accidental Success, for I study the behavior of my clients, then give diagnosis according to the theories that I've studied, including the Thorndike's theory. Thorndike's theory is a type of learning in which the organism successively tries various responses in a situation, seemingly at random, until one is successful in achieving the goal. Across successive trials, the successful response is strengthened and appears earlier and earlier. A great example would be this one. Thorndike placed a hungry cat inside a puzzle box, and the plate of fish was kept outside the box. So it was impossible for the cat to get to the plate unless it could open the door and get out. Thorndike had arranged the puzzle box such that the cat either had to pull a loop or press a lever in order to open the door. Initially, the cat moved randomly inside the box, biting and clawing at the bars, thrusting its paws and trying to squeeze out of the box. And after several minutes of trying these ineffective responses, the cat accidentally pulled the loop, having hit the correct response. The cat managed to get out, and it was awarded with a small piece of fish. After that, the cat was placed inside the box again. So this time around, the cat took less time to pull the loop, and the exercise was continued repeatedly, and it was seen that as the number of trials increased, the time taken to pull the loop decreased, and as the response latency decreased, the cat finally learned the trick. It then pulled the loop as soon as it was put in the box and managed to get out. The term trial and error learning was then introduced as the number of trials resulted in decreased number of errors. So when can we say that it is an accidental success? So here, the first time an organism gets something right after repeated trials is always accidental, hence the term accidental success. For instance, the first time the cat managed to pull the lever was accidental success.
Wow! We learned so much from you today, Doc. For a deeper understanding of the other learning theories, a group of students from St. Michael's Academy will give their insights. Let's give them a warm round of applause for Hannah Balaba, Angela Abinero, and Alea Shane Buladako.
Welcome, our dear students. My partner and I heard that the three of you are fascinated to the theory of Pavlov, Watson, and Skinner. We would like to hear each one of your voices and some of your insights about their respective theories.
Yes, good afternoon listeners. I am Hannah Blas Balaba from St. Michael's Academy. And and I will be talking about Ivan Pavlov's classical conditioning. Classical conditioning is a type of learning that had a major influence on the school of thought in psychology known as behaviorism. It was discovered by Russian psychologist Ivan Pavlov. Classical conditioning is a learning process that occurs through associations between an environmental stimulus and a naturally occurring stimulus. The most famous example of classical conditioning was Pavlov's experiment with dogs who salivated in response to a bell tone. Pavlov showed that when a bell was sounded each time the dog was fed, the dog learned to associate the sound with the presentation of the food.
It's my first time hearing this kind of information. It makes me want to do this to my dog. Let me try this when I get home.
Tell me what will happen the next time we see each other. Okay, partner?
Copy, partner. Up next is our next student guest, Anjulu Abunero. Miss Anjulu, can you tell us something about condition response by Watson? I believe that it's my first time hearing his theory.
Yes, of course. It would be a great pleasure. John Watson, also known as the father of behaviorism, proposed that the process of classical conditioning based on Pavlov's observations was able to explain all aspects of human psychology. Everything from speech to emotional responses was simply patterns of stimulus and response. Conditioned emotional responses can develop because of classical conditioning. For example, if seeing a dog, it would be the neutral stimulus. Is paired with the pain of being bitten by the dog, it is the unconditioned stimulus. Seeing a dog may become a conditioned stimulus that elicits fear, and that is the conditioned response. So we have also B.F. Skinner, the father of operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is a type of associative learning process through which the strength of a behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. It is also a procedure that is used to bring about such learning. According to this principle, behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences is likely to be repeated, and behavior followed by unpleasant consequences is less likely to be repeated. The four types of operant conditioning are positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment.
Can you explain the following to us, Miss Alea?
Yes. Hello, listeners. In positive reinforcement, a response or behavior is strengthened by rewards, leading to the repetition of desired behavior. The reward is a reinforcing stimulus. Negative reinforcement is a termination of an unpleasant state following a response. This is known as negative reinforcement because it is the removal of an adverse stimulus which is rewarding to the animal or person. Positive punishment is adding something to the mix that will result in an unpleasant consequence. The goal is to decrease the likelihood that the unwanted behavior will happen again in the future. In the case of negative punishment, it involves taking something good or desirable away to reduce the occurrence of a behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Alea. But I am very curious. Since your school also caters children with special needs, what is the significance of understanding these learning theories with regards to special education?
Learning theories provide a framework for how individuals learn and how educators can best support students. Thank you.
Now I understand why some teachers give importance to children with special needs. Speaking of teachers, my dear partner, do you have any ideas or insights as to how they deal with students with different disorders?
To answer your question, I am privileged to introduce to our listeners our last guest for today's talk. Let us give a round of applause to Teacher Benz, Jorlene, and Lovely. They will be giving us insights on how to deal with students with different disorders.
Good afternoon, teachers. Thank you for being with us today. How are you?
We're doing good. We love teaching students with special needs because we feel like this is our true purpose in life. It feels like taking good care of a child like he or she is our own.
That's very heartwarming. But how do you deal with them?
Together with Teacher Jarlene and Teacher Lovely, we break learning tasks into small steps. Consider alternate activities for exercises that can be utilized with less difficulty for the student, while maintaining the same or similar learning objectives. Review relevant material, review the material to be presented, present the new material, and then summarize the material just presented. To provide a peer tutor, assign the students to a study group and allow the student to use a tape recorder, use a specific language, and state expectations.
But as for teaching tips, I would like to ask all of you, can you give us any tips in teaching students with special needs?
As for my tips, we make sure that our classroom is organized. Structure. The structure is very important for special needs students, and it can be very helpful for you as special education teacher, whether you have one student to keep track of or 20. Sticking to a daily routine as much as possible will help you both and your students. Keeping your classroom organized will also help to minimize stress and distractions.
Next, we always remember that each child is an individual. Every special needs student is unique, so try to get to know your students as individuals instead of identifying them by their diagnosis. So as a special education teacher, you may be responsible for developing IEPs. Not only are these a federal requirement, but they can be a helpful tool for you and the child's parent to come together to create an education plan that works for everyone.
We give students opportunities for success. Maintaining a positive outlook is incredibly important in a field as challenging as a special education. Some days will be harder than others, and some students will progress more slowly than others. Encourage your students to work hard and to improve by offering opportunities for small successes and then celebrate those successes.
We create and provide a support network. As special education teacher, you will need to be able to work with your students, general education teachers, as well as these therapists and parents. The more you communicate with everyone, the easier things will be, and the more your students will benefit.
We keep things simple. When it comes to teaching special needs students, it is important to break down tasks into small, manageable steps. You should always keep projects short and sweet. The more complicated you make things, the more likely your students are to become confused or frustrated, and that adds to the challenges you're already facing.
Thank you so much to all our lovely guests. You are all amazing.
Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, everyone.